All right, hello. Thank you for joining me. And can just have you introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm a fourth year student at SFU. I'm majoring in kinesiology and I'm a senior on the women's volleyball team.
So this is your last year, I believe.
Yeah, so my last year was actually supposed to be this year, but since COVID happened and we lost our season this year, I actually gained a year of eligibility.
Oh, nice.
So I get to play next year as well. Yeah, and I'm taking 5 years of school, so it lined up pretty well. Mhm.
I was wondering how the people that's supposed to end on this year, like there's
Right.
yeah, because this year you don't get any games. That's what I kind of heard.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
no games within our conference. We were hoping to get games with some Canadian schools, but that never ended up happening since restrictions kind of only got worse throughout the spring.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
so we didn't have any games. We had some like scrimmages like within our team, so we'd like go 6-on-6 at one point. But that's kind of the best that we had. So a lot of the girls, for example, um, like you said, like don't have enough classes to finish. So I think they only have one more semester left in the fall. So
mhm.
we're hoping that we can get a season in by the fall so that they can get their last couple games in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crucial. It sucks to sit out, especially
Exactly.
for your last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the sport?
Well, my mom actually played university volleyball in the Philippines, so she's like always been involved in volleyball. And then my sisters played. I have two older sisters, and so I've been playing since grade 4. Yeah, and I feel like most kids like play a bunch of sports when they're young. They try
Oh yeah,
everything.
they try everything.
Yeah, and I mean, I tried a couple things like basketball and dance, I guess, but I think I've always known that it's been volleyball for me. So,
Because
yeah,
kind of
volleyball's kind of always
runs
been
in the
my
family.
sport. Pardon me?
It kind of runs in the family since you're,
Yeah, I guess I've always been around it. Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
awesome. So, how to like on the topic of starting, volleyball and like how you get into like how would you recommend someone who's like a beginner to start volleyball or like how to improve, like trying to, play some games or like maybe play community, like
Great.
how to start and how to improve?
Right. Well, I guess right now it's a little bit hard. I'm
Mhm.
sure normally there'll be like adult clinics or rec leagues. Like I'm SFU has an intramural league. I know you can get involved with. But I'm not sure if those are running right now. So I'm sure for me, the most COVID safe way I think to play volleyball would be to probably just go to the beach with some friends, set up a net, and then go from there. It's really fun. Like you can make a day out of it.
Mhm.
Enjoy your time at the beach during the day, play volleyball at night. It's a good workout too. So
Yeah, sure is.
yeah.
And on top of the COVID thing, like how has that impacted the volleyball team in terms of practice and all that? Because I know there's no game, but
Right.
from what I heard from like the soccer and the football, they still have the open field, so they're able to practice. As long as they're not no physical contact, but they still
Mhm.
can do like conditioning and all that. But I think volleyball is more indoor sport. So like,
Mhm.
how do you guys practice and all that?
So the restrictions have kind of been changing throughout the year as the BC restrictions have been changing as well.
Mhm.
But there have been things like restricted amount of people on the court. So at certain points in the year, we weren't allowed to play full 6-on-6, and we had to stay at least, I think it was 3 meters apart. So drills kind of had to be changed so that we could stay further distances from each other. Um, but yeah, coaches have to wear masks. Athletes don't have to wear masks as long as we're distanced. But yeah, we're training in smaller groups, so not the full team all at once, just trying to keep everything small and far apart at the same time.
Wow,
hmm
that's kind of harsh on like these type of story because you guys like bunch up a bit, quite a bit, right? For when you guys
Right,
play.
exactly. It's hard.
Yeah,
I'm very blessed because my coach is very creative. She's a very smart lady, so she's definitely found ways to still improve without having the full team on the court all at once. So we're very lucky.
that's nice. And how do you guys as athletes remain fit like during your COVID season and maybe expand a bit for like on a normal season? Like how do you guys remain fit throughout the whole season?
So normally, we have in season, we'll lift 2 times a week, along with practices every single day. We usually have one day off. That's kind of optional reps. And that's in season. So that would be in the fall semester.
Hmm.
And then in the spring, we're off. And so we normally lift 3 times a week, still practicing every day. and then 2 mornings of kind of like agility work. So that would be a normal year, I guess, of volleyball. But for right now, we're lifting twice a week still, kind of optional based on what you're comfortable with all the COVID restrictions and all that. But throughout the summer, we get a lifting program. But depending on if gyms are open or closed, it's kind of, again, you have to modify it for yourself. So I think a lot of us have been running a lot, doing a lot of at home circuit workouts, just
Oh
trying
yeah,
to stay fit as much as we can, being creative again. I guess that's the theme.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Did you set any personal goals in terms of like for your sports career or like for academic career?
For my sports career, I feel like um, I don't. I've always thought about maybe wanting to play pro one day, but for now, that isn't quite my goal. I'm actually in my 5th year or going into my 5th year next year, so I'm hoping to go to medical school after. So
Wow.
that would be my big academic goal, I'd say. But volleyball wise, um, I feel very committed to this team. I feel very lucky to be coached to have the coaches I have and the teammates that I have. So I guess trying to be the best player that I can with what little time I have left is my goal.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, you get the kind of you have you kind of have balance on both end too. Like wow, med school. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, so I feel like right now I'm very focused on that big career goal, but I mean, so many things could happen. I would love to keep playing. I'm not closing the door to playing after university, but for now, I guess that's not where I'm
Yeah.
looking at.
Oh yeah. So like on top of the academic study, like from what I get, the athletes get the studying part pretty hard because you guys have to like balance both academic
Right.
and sports because you guys can't fail. You guys
Right,
have a certain level you
exactly.
have to meet. Like, but you have practice every day and then weight training and then schoolwork. Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, me and my teammates have this talk all the time, and we're like, we're pretty much working full-time jobs because we get to the gym at like 2:30 before practice at 3. We have volleyball practice for 2 hours, and we lift, and we're not home, and it's all of a sudden it's like 9 p.m. and we haven't done any homework, and we're kind of like, oh no, where
I
does the
know.
time go? But I honestly think we all use volleyball as an outlet. So it's like the time of our day where we can just focus on being fit, exercising, enjoying our time with our teammates. And then I think that honestly helps me because when I do have the little time that I have to do homework, then I am focused and um, we kind of are surrounded by people in the same boat as us. And so we're very lucky to have each other's support when that happens.
Wow. Yeah. It's more than a full-time job. Full-time job
Yeah,
doesn't have
it's
homework.
weird because you have to think about sleeping early, like actually being rested enough to play well at practice. Like there are just so
Yeah.
many components to it. So yeah.
Yeah, because like the thing about like you guys is like you guys have to have a good rest. Like I know a lot of university students that you know they don't sleep. They sleep for like 3 hours or whatever. But
Yeah, stay up
athlete,
all night.
if you want to stay in top like physical condition, I believe you guys have to sleep well, you have to eat well. Like with all the schoolwork and practice, where do you get the time, right? So
Exactly. It's hard. It's definitely easier as you go. And we're lucky because when you come in as a freshman, you have all these older girls to look up to and to get advice from, girls that have taken the same classes as you, girls that have been through the same first year disaster that you've been in. So it's nice. You're lucky to go into university surrounded by people who can advise you on these things. So we're lucky.
yeah, it's awesome. A team is always like a good support system, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. And we
Yeah.
all know they all have firsthand experience. They know what it feels like.
And this one might be pretty close to your topic. Like, how do you prevent burnouts? Because I know, like, if you do, I don't know. I know some people who do sports for like, their whole career and then even
Right.
into their university. By the time we're into like 4th year, like the end of their year, they're kind of burned out because you have to, like I said, you guys have like very tight schedule. Like, yeah, you do
Right.
academic and then you do sports. Like, and then afterward, you kind of be like, oh, I don't want to do any of these anymore. Like,
Yeah. Just a
how do you
complete break.
prevent that?
Um, I think again, very lucky to have the coach that I have. Every semester she gives us 2 mental health days. And so, yeah, she's amazing. So whether that be because you have a huge test the day after or whether you're just super burnt out and need to take the night off, each semester you're allowed to have 2 days where you just don't come to practice.
Mhm.
And then you can either make it up on another day if you feel down for it or not. So yeah, I think again, my specific situation is very lucky. Also, I just love my teammates to death, and I honestly feel like going to volleyball is an outlet for me. And so school is probably the biggest stress that I have, trying to keep the grades up and just, staying on track. But I find that practice is kind of my way to relax. So again,
That's
very lucky.
that's awesome. That's awesome. This one is I'm gonna ask you to do a run through of your daily life. Like so maybe from maybe do two. One from like a regular semester and one during your COVID time. Like
Oh
just like
gosh. Okay, I don't
yes.
know. Okay, so let's say regular semester. Um, us science kids always have those 8:30 or 9:30 lectures. And I normally commute to school, so I guess I'd get up. I have to leave like an hour before class, take the train, take the bus, get to school, get class done. In season, our practices are usually either like from 3:30 to 5:30 or 5:30 to 7:30 with weights. And then I guess just come home, eat dinner, study, sleep. And then in the spring, that changes, and our practices are actually at 7 in the morning. And so that's
Oh,
kind of just all reversed, where I commute earlier and then have practice first, do my classes, come home, same thing, nap usually, try to recharge before I study. Yeah.
yeah. Nap sounds really needed on that one.
Yeah. Naps are definitely much needed in the spring.
How about COVID time?
Okay, COVID, I wouldn't say it's much different. I think for me, the only thing that's changing is that I don't have to do the commute.
That's kind
Luckily
of
now,
good.
my parents are letting me they're working from home, so there's an extra
Mhm.
car, so I'm able to drive to practice, which is nice. And so practices have been kind of changing again since they're smaller groups. It's kind
Yep.
of more flexible throughout the day. But same thing, kind of just get up, try to get my classes done, walk my dog sometime throughout the day, and then yeah, just go to practice whenever that is. Mhm.
That's awesome. Well, that's
Thanks.
all the question I have for you. And thank you very much for participating.
Sweet, yeah,
Yeah, and I hope if we ever work again together, and that'd be great. Thank you very
sweet.
much.
Yeah, sweet. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.